Whether you're new to gaming or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about having fun and escaping the stresses of everyday life, but also being there to pick up our teammates, especially when they're down.
Guardian down.
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry in Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 321 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, ToddtheGatr, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise, I think. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise. We like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well. We also have roundtable episodes typically every month where we have more diverse conversations about our gaming hobby. And we'll post in our Discord when those will be coming up. You can also click on our event tab in our Discord for our live shows. Just hit that RSVP and it'll actually give you a little notification saying, hey, Guardian Downcast about to go live. Pretty nice little feature they have in Discord. I got to admit, Discord's been a great service for us. I have no problem paying our fees to Discord every month for our community. It's been a fantastic. I really, knock on wood, we have not had too many issues with communication or anything on Discord. So got to give them a props. Just remember, we go live every Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we have the replays in my Twitch channel and on my YouTube channel. That's ToddtheGatr. That's ToddtheGatr. And if you do stop by there or watch our replays, make sure to throw a follow or a sub there, and that way you'll be alerted to when our shows go live. I have my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsleymac, with us again tonight. How are you doing, Mike?
Hey, I'm glad to be here tonight so I can get out of the real world and talk with you. So glad to be here.
Thanks, man. Thanks for being here tonight. I might need support group tonight. I might need support tonight. In this
gaming is not stressing me at all, so I'll be the I'll be the upper tonight.
Okay, you can mention that thing we were talking about before the show if you want. By the way, in this episode, we're going to catch up with our week, of course, like we always do, and see how we're doing in Destiny and life. I have one movie review that I'll talk about. As usual, I report on any pertinent information from this week in Destiny from Bungie. Really curious what Bungie has to say this week. Next, we're going to go over our initial impressions of the new Ash and Iron seasonal update, and more importantly, our opinions on the Bungie live stream event that went live last Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If there's any questions from our community, we'll be sure to answer those later in the show. So if you do have a question for us tonight, head over to our Discord, discord.gg/Guardian Downcast, and go to our podcast questions channel and enter them there. And when we get to that part of the show tonight, we'll read off any questions, if we have any, and mention anybody who's put questions in for the show tonight. Then finally, we have our question of the week. We're going to go over. This is a survey I put out every week, typically. Usually a kind of a survey about something Destiny related or something in our gaming industry related. And usually I'll share the results of that and read off any comments that our Discord members posted as well. All right. So if everyone's ready, let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels ToddtheGatr and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out.
Well, Kingsley, man, it's been a bummer week. I got to admit, it has just been a downer week for me. But I'll go to you first, man. What's going on with you this week, man? Catch me up.
Oh man, this week for gaming has been pretty amazing. I started, because we're going to talk about Destiny stuff later.
Yeah.
I started a new season of Division 2 called The Pact. And I'm still newer in the game. And so it was kind of fun. This is the first time I've started a new season along with everyone else to kind of, the last season, I didn't really bother catching up on trying to do the season pass or all this stuff. But the nice thing, like I mentioned before with the Division, is even after the seasons are gone, they don't remove the content. You can still go to the old bosses and defeat them.
Right.
I mean, of course, the season pass bar is gone because they come up with a new one. Every game does that, but the actual content is not removed. And so it's just been fun going into it along with everyone else and just kind of experiencing it from day one. They do the thing with a lot of other games do, where if you buy the enhanced season pass, which I did for $10 instead of just the free one this time because I wanted to check it out, see how it works. They give you some e-credits back. So you don't get quite the $10 back, but if you pass I think you get like $6 or $8 back so that the next time you buy it, it's that much cheaper eventually, so kind of cool. So if you play the game, you're like earning rewards for playing the game.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that. And then today I started up Borderlands 4.
Got to hear.
And it is good. And I wasn't worried. I haven't played a lot yet, but like I've looked at the reviews, already watched a few video reviews from people. I could tell right away when I went into how they laid out the menu systems this time with the skill trees and the weapons. And I didn't even have any complaints about Borderlands 3 or other games, but they did it very clean for like how many systems are in the game. It doesn't seem overwhelming, which is really nice. So people can hop into it quickly. Yet when you want to start doing all those fun upgrades and stuff, they're there for you. So, the art style is same as ever. I like maybe the graphic fidelity is like 10% better, but you can't really tell in a game like this because it's purposely made cartoonish.
Yeah.
But I can still tell like there's some polish, there's some little like lighting effects that are slightly better. For those, we've had some discussion in the other games channel today. There's some rumors that the system requirements were super high for Borderlands 4. And I don't know how that started. I think it actually started something with someone was looking at the processor requirements and they weren't reading the fine print very well. But if you actually look at the details, the requirements aren't that bad. They're a lot lower than other new games. So you don't need to worry if you want this game and if you don't have a brand new PC. It works well on older PCs too. I mean, at some point you got to have, I think the minimum was like a 2070, which is pretty old, and or like a Radeon. So that's GeForce, and then like a Radeon 5700. But like those are all pretty old cards at this point. So if you have anything better than that, you're going to probably be okay. But yeah, enjoying the game. I was not worried about it being a great game, and everything I've seen so far, it's like, yeah, man, this is fun and excited to experience it some more. I also finished the final episode of the Dexter season finale, of course.
Ooh.
That was last Friday,
okay.
The day after our last recording, and it went out with a bang. It was good.
Okay. So it's all done.
Yeah.
The season's out.
Yep. And then season 2 will probably come out like next spring or summer because it's doing really, really good. So they'll keep that going for a while. And that's about it. But tons of video game stuff going on right now. I delved a little bit into the Silksong game, and I love the art style, and it's a fun game. But like one right now that's definitely going to be lower on my list compared to like Borderlands and the Division and stuff. But gaming is top notch right now. I mean, unless you only like to play one game and will never consider anything else, there's plenty of good games you can play. So leave it at that.
I got you. Well, good to hear, man. Yeah, there's been some tragedies in the nation lately, and it's just been a weird week, man. It's been a crappy week for me, and that's not even including the the Ashen Iron launch that really had me spinning for a while there, and we'll get into that. But I heard in podcasting circles that a pioneer of podcasting industry passed away this week. You all have probably never heard of this man. His name is Todd Cochran, but he was a co-host of the New Media Podcast, which is a podcast for podcasters. And I've been listening to that show for probably 3 years now, and always appreciated his honesty in podcasting field. And he was also the CEO and founder of Blueberry, which is a major podcast hosting platform out there that I, just for the record, I don't use. I use Libsyn for my podcast publishing. He was only 61, and just really sucks to lose someone like that way too early in his life. And he was such a positive force for independent podcasters out there. So I wanted to at least mention his name today out of reverence, because a lot of the people who really knew him well have already done a tribute to him. But I figured I owed him that, to at least mention him, that he was in my thoughts this week. And it just bummed me out, man. That man is not very old at all. And it was a fluke thing how he died. I won't get into any specifics out of respect for his family, but it was very sudden and unexpected, to say the least. Gaming. I not much. I haven't really done much in gaming this past week, other than I did get all my 2 alt accounts. I remember I mentioned in the last week's show that my 2 alt accounts, I got the reward passes complete right before Ashen Iron dropped. I have not played any Destiny Rising. And, Kingsley, I was listening back to our conversation about Destiny Rising last week, and I kind of reflected on it. And I know I had a lot of excuses last week for why I was not playing Destiny Rising. And I think the great Day Infinity said it best. And I just kind of nodded my head when he said it. I have enough Destiny in my life right now. I got one Destiny game, and I really don't want to get into another Destiny game. And it's seriously how I feel. I mean, I know I mentioned a bunch of excuses that it's a gacha game and the graphics not going to be as good, or I have to use an emulator, which I'm sure is not that hard to hook up. But I really don't want to.
That's an excuse too, especially when nothing's going on in Destiny right now.
I really don't want to go down the rabbit hole of another Destiny game unless it's a Destiny 3, because all I play is
you don't even
Destiny
have
2.
to have a reason.
I know.
You can just say, I don't feel like it.
It was funny that
sometimes that's better than just, having excuses.
I appreciate this about you, Kingsley, because you don't let things slide. And I like that. I like that you keep me accountable when it comes to my excuses. Too. You were being fair.
You don't even have to have a reason.
You were being fair. You were being fair, though. You were calling me on my bullshit, and I appreciate that, man. But we'll get into Destiny talk here very soon. Entertainment-wise, I did want to mention my wife and I saw one movie at the theater this last week. Using my AMC Stubs A-List membership, of course. I can see 4 movies in any format free every week. So I don't know that I'd ever get to 4 movies, but I've seen 3 before. We saw a new indie movie this last week called Splitsville. It's an independent. It stars Adria Arjona. If you remember the Andor's girlfriend, if you watch the Andor series, that's who I'm talking about. Dakota Johnson, I think everybody knows who she is, and they played the wives in this situation, and Michael Covino and Kyle Marvin as the husbands. This is a crazy and funny film about a man who runs from his wife, literally from his car, when he was parked on the side of the road after she asked for a divorce, when they both witness a car accident. And he runs to his friends in support, which is Dakota Johnson and Michael Covino. He finds out that the key to a happy life is an open marriage. The movie, like I said, is called Splitsville. The movie begins when that part begins, it just gets crazier from there. It exposes some buried feelings between both these couples and their marriages. And, there were parts of the movie that had me in tears laughing. If you do watch the movie, the roller coaster scene had me rolling on the floor, literally. It was so funny. I have this weird coyote-like laugh when you really get me laughing. And man, the whole theater heard me laughing on that part. It was so much funny. It's a decent stab at relationships today. And I thought it was charming and certainly entertaining. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 86% certified fresh. I got to agree. It's worth your time if you're looking for that kind of movie. It's not a Marvel movie, of course, but not an action movie even. But I give this one 3.5 stars out of 5. Check it out if you see it on the streaming platforms out there. Next week, I'll be reviewing the Stephen King movie, The Long Walk, starring Mark Hamill. This was Stephen King's very first written novel that's finally come to a movie form. And I'm really looking forward to this one. And I'll share my thoughts on that one next week. But other than that, Kingsley, I'm ready to talk Destiny, man. So
All right.
let's get into it right after this break. Hey, just a quick reminder that we have several Destiny 2 clans, and we invite all of you to be a part of it. If you're looking for a home to share your Destiny experiences, now would be a great time to jump in and get to know some of these great gamers. We're here for the community and friends you make along the way, and no hardcore restrictions. And enjoy what time you have for Destiny is all we ask. So if you're looking for a clan out there, join our Discord. That's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast, and just reach out to a mod and we'll open the door for you. So join us, and later, Guardian. All right, Kingsley, we can't avoid this topic anymore. It's been a kind of a glaring issue this week, but I want to start out with our impressions of Ash and Iron, and of course, after that, the Bungie live stream. I want to start out that by that pointing out that when I signed in to play Ash and Iron on Tuesday, it has 0 story content. I mean, I was expecting a patrol area on the Plague Lands and, some kind of continuing storyline that they weave into the new destination, which ironically, I can't find the Plague Lands. I don't know if you found it, but I couldn't find it. I didn't see it on the map anywhere. And even if it isn't a patrol area, I thought it'd be an explorable area at least. But I did try the newly updated Mida multi-tool. I quite enjoyed how it goes through the stages as you kill more enemies. I don't think it'll do very well in Crucible. You'll never get to the stages by the time you get enough kills. And I like seeing the return of the mini multi-tool as well. I'll probably use both of those together, and I got some decent rolls with that. But I jumped in looking for the place to go, right? This is the new season. This is the new update. And I was looking for somewhere to go to start seeing some kind of story or some kind of story mission, anything. And all it said was to go to Devrim K. And I'm like, okay, we'll go to Devrim K. Went to Devrim K. He says, go complete this initial mission, which you have to go through the portal and the special event to get to it. And I got to say, the mission that they had on the tower was fantastic. I loved it. It was new content. Went all through some back areas of the tower that we haven't been before. Some areas we had been before and past missions, but ran through it, killed everything, had a great time, even got some really good loot. I got the rocket launcher and I got the new Mida mini tool. And then I went back to Devrim and it said, good job. Get the hell out of here. I'm like, what? What do you mean get out of here? What else do I need to do? What's the next story mission? And all I could go to was the portal. And there was an event called New Territories, and it only ran for a week. So I said, okay, let's jump into the New Territories. I jumped into one of these solo. I think it was the Cabal, the Cabal one. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it was the new reclaim activity. And I'm at 403, 404 power and jumped in there and got my ass kicked. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I want to just at least get through an activity here and have some fun, see what this is all about. And I did finally get through it. I got through all 4 areas like Devrim told me to. That was the last part of the mission. And I didn't ever want to go back. That was brutal. That was just freaking brutal, man. But that is how my Destiny Ash and Iron experience has gone so far. I've not returned to that New Territories seasonal activity. I know it only lasts a week, but I don't think I'm going to finish it. It's probably going to be the first activity that I don't even want to engage in. because it's just I actually went and even mentioned in the Discord, Kingsley, that I thought the activity was pretty fun. It was hard because I did it solo, and I realized it's a fire team op. You're supposed to run it with people. And you were like, are you kidding me? That was the most boring activity I ever ran. But I won't put words in your mouth. I'll let you explain. But how did your first day of Ash and Iron go? Just curious.
Yeah. Well, I don't equate hard to boring, so both things can be mutually exclusive. But and I do have comments on all this stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. Couple things. First of all, I kind of went in knowing that we weren't going to have any story content because they did warn us ahead of time. No, so technically we don't have 4 seasons. We do have 4 battle pass or 4 rewards bars, but the season actually goes until Renegades. And this is called an update. Now they call it a major update, which is kind of a joke. It's called an update.
It's a season. You get a new seasonal reward pass. Let's just call it what it is. It's a new season.
Well, yeah, but if their official marketing calls a season from everything, so if you want to go on what they're calling a season, because they have the name of the season too, it actually goes from Kepler all the way till Renegades. So anyways, I knew that there wasn't going to be new content. I also knew that the new location wasn't going to be anything other than in the activity because, why they don't have enough time to give us tons of just extra. This isn't like a DLC drop with they're bringing back the plague lands and we can, explore around and do all this stuff. It's really just a new activity. That's basically it.
Wow.
I do want to say though that the activity is not going for just a week. They're just promoting it.
I realize that
in the
it's the new territories called the new territories. That's the
yeah.
But the reclaim.
Case anyone's thinking, reclaim will be around. Reclaim will be around. But my major issue, my 2 major. So I went in. I usually like to go in realistic and lower expectations because that's how I feel like Bungie is to us right now, at least to me. But even I had some disappointments that I got. Even with going in with low expectations, I was disappointed because the 2 things that bothered me was the way they present in the portal is just confusing to people. Because they promote so much this go on your tier that you're in, whether it's master, GM, whatever, and do an A+ score. And that's the only way to play because getting power. But there's sometimes where people want to play just for the experience. And I knew you can bring it down to a lower level. And you can do that too, by the way. You don't have to play it on DM. You can play it on the lower level.
Of course. Yeah.
If you just want to experience.
True. But you're not going to get anything worthwhile.
And then
anything powerful.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't care. But and then the thing that really pissed me off though was even with it being in the Fireteam Ops, only one of the 3 zones, which I'm going to give a joke about that in a second too, one of the 3 versions of it was match made. They're still doing this in the Fireteam Ops area where only the top row can be auto match made and the ones below can't. And the only thing I can think of is why are they doing that? Maybe because population's so low, they don't want to match make everything. They're not doing it because of difficulty, because they are matchmaking GM level stuff and people are doing fine. So I don't know why only one of the new activity out of the 3 is match made at any given time. That's it's they're just laughing at us. Oh, you can only play this one if you want to make it easy. Otherwise you have to do it as a slog. Just going with the team, of course, that you bring together on your own, or which is a pain because not everyone's schedule, or play solo, and then that's a slog. It's not too bad of a slog. I actually did the other 2 versions of it, and I did it solo, and it's a slog. I got it done in 45 minutes once, mostly because I got into this weird loop where ads weren't spawning enough, so it was just taking forever to get to the 1,000 score.
Lucky you.
Yeah. And then it was just boring. It was just freaking boring. Even when I did the match-made version, I don't see anything interesting about this activity. I'm curious for people to think it's okay or good. I'm not saying that's a bad opinion, obviously, unfair about things, but I'm just curious what you think about this as fun, because it's just kind of like boring in my opinion. And the thing too is like when you do the other versions of the mission, they seem like they're giving you the same zones, but just in a different order.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like
What's
it's
the
one
point of having?
seems like it's one location. Yeah.
Well, no, there's 3 locations, but
Yeah.
but when you're playing the activity, you go to 3 places anyways,
Right.
or 4. I guess there's a boss area. I forget how much total it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just seem to like be doing it in a different order each time. Like, that's absurd. You can't say there's 3 versions of the activity if it's really just the same things in different orders. Maybe I'm missing something on that, though. I'll try to be fair if I'm missing something on that. So, and then once we found out, the other thing that I was assuming, but then they told us on the stream that the exotic mission's not even coming out right away. We have to wait till October 7th.
Yep.
And the exotic mission will probably be the highlight of the,
right.
Sure, you can call it season. I'm calling it an update. But
Mm-hmm.
of all the stuff we get till December and maybe the Halloween event, I'm going to talk about these 2 things in a second. But those things will probably be the only 2 highlights of this whole 3-month period. Other than that, it's going to be boring, at least for me.
Well, I gotta point out that the new exotic that you get with, which I had a feeling, it's the first weapon you get with the paid reward track, the new Malphus, however way you say it, the Rocket Pulse.
Mm-hmm.
It's outstanding. I used it the whole time. I loved it. It was worth the exotic slot because when you stuck those sticky grenades, it's a Rocket Pulse, just like the Mitt Retrograde is, but it has a bonus. It actually has impact damage, but then when you hold down the reload button, they actually detonate these sticky bombs that are kind of drilled into the enemy. And I would eliminate a lot of yellow bars that way. I had fun doing that. I was quite enjoying using the new Rocket Pulse, and it is worth that exotic slot. At least to me, it is. I heard you don't get the catalyst until like level 90 on the reward pass, so it's gonna be a while before I get to that. But it's really weird, Kingsley. I should listen to you more often. You guys can clip that. I don't give a shit. You can clip that. I need to listen to Kingsley more because I'm the optimist here. I'm the one that always is like, I cannot wait. I'm going to hop on my Sparrow. I'm going to do the circle around the Plague Lands like I did in Destiny, Destiny 1, Rise of Iron. I'm going to bring back all those days, and I'm going to pass the smelt activity. I was going to pass that and wave to it. And I had all these ideas of what I was going to do and how I was going to hang out and chill out on the Plague Lands. And cause I like patrol areas. I like looking at the planets and going around and chilling and killing, as I like to say. But no Plague. They were really selling Plague Lands. And then when I logged into the game, I'm like, where the hell is the Plague Lands? Where's the common area I can go and check out? And it just wasn't there. So I feel like I got lied to. I feel like they really pushed the fact Plague Lands was coming. And then all we get's this new territories thing. That was the whole thing. The new territories, activity and running the new, reclaim activity. That was it. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me, man. This cannot be the whole Ash and Iron update. And yes, to be honest, to be fair, yes, we are going to have the Halloween event. I want to talk about that. Don't mention it yet. They're going to have the new exotic mission, which I'm excited to play it. When it comes out, I'll play it. That's not till next month, I think.
October 7th and then 21st, respectively, for the 2 things. Yep.
But here's the thing, man. I said this in past shows, and I'll say it again here. The more powerful I get in Destiny 2 in the new Ash and Iron, the weaker I feel. Shouldn't that be the opposite? Shouldn't the more powerful I put in the time and get my gear score power up, shouldn't I be kicking in the door and kicking ass and taking names? No, I don't. I feel so freaking fragile when I jump into any of these. And I did jump back into the portal event. And as Maximo said today, I was so excited when I went to the solo ops and saw all these new locations to go play solo ops. And then he goes, right. There are none. What the fuck, Bungie? What the hell?
I told you that too.
Where the hell are the new solo ops activities? I'm looking, It's the same damn activities I ran when Ash and Iron released. Where the hell's the new solo ops activities? Because I'm gonna be honest, solo ops to me was a big yes. It checked the box for me when Ash and Iron came out. I love solo ops. I love jumping in there right before work, crank out a couple solo ops missions, get some higher powered gear, either keep it or infuse it into my gear that I do want to keep. But where is it? Where are the new solo ops? They talked about they were going to adding all these activities into the portal. Did they forget solo ops? I'm confused. I'm very confused because I don't know if I'm going to be going back in solo ops. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm going to play a little bit of it, but I don't. I'm confused. I'm really confused, man.
Yeah. One thing I do want to get some clarification on, because you keep mentioning the thing about feeling less powerful when you get higher number level. Isn't it the thing though, like it's only a certain time, like around the 30s or the 70s, and then it gets easier again? Because that already happened between 200 and 300.
Once you hit 400, man, it is you're in the Grandmaster playlist, and every game.
Okay, so it's only at 400 then, is what you're saying, yeah? Because it wasn't before. It wasn't like
it gets
100 to 400. It always was linear. No, it would go up and down. It would get harder a bit, but then it would get easier again. Yeah.
As you move up through the playlist, whether you go from Master's going to have no radar. It's going to have timed stuff. You're going to have a certain amount of revives that you have left, which according to Bungie with this new patch, I would take my time because I don't like timers. Fuck timers. I don't give a shit. I want to get the score. I'm sorry for the F words tonight. I'm a little too excited about this. The fact that I'd rather take more modifiers and just not worry about the 5 or 10% bonus for getting it done within the time. Because that's the reason I love playing solo ops is I can do it at my pace. I know what I need to do. I can systematically take out the champions I need to take out of. But as you move up in the playlist, the modifiers in order to get a good score keep going up. The stakes keep going up. They keep going up. Sooner or later, you'll have no radar. You'll never have radar. It's never. It's something you just have to have in the player stakes. It seems like
I know, but like things got harder at 270, but then they got easier for me again at 300. So, and I thought other people were saying that too. Now it could be true.
Maybe it is for that, but when I'm trying to increase my power further, in order to get rewarded with the higher tier gear and weapons, I have to slap on so many negative modifiers that part of the game that I love to play doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why they have boons in place for us in modifiers, because you can never use them or your activity score goes down. I mean, there is something seriously wrong with the portal and its scoring system right now. It seems like anytime I jump into a solo ops or any kind of portal activity, because I have to play in Grandmasters now because I'm 403, I'm over 400 power. I still think I blame Datto for this. Datto mocked Bungie when the Ron raid came out, and he was mocking Bungie how easy everything was to play. And I swear to God, I think that really pissed off Bungie devs, because it seems like today it's gone all the way in the other direction. You cannot have fun and play anything to grind gear now. You have to frickin' sweat every frickin' game, man. It seems like every game I jump into, Kingsley, I'll just give you an example here. I have to have I have to play with no radar. I got to start with 0 ammo. I got to go to orbit after losing all my revives. Getting slowed when I'm punched. Fire dropping from enemies when I kill them. Not to mention the loads of champions and special enemies with more banes to hurt me. I think I'm just going to shoot some bad dudes in Borderlands 4 instead for a bit. I'm still working to 200 on my alt accounts, and I'll jump in and do my bounty runs with, for powerful Ingrams every week like I did before Ash and Iron drop. But I'm good, man. I think I don't think I'm going to be worried about powering up beyond for my 403 unless Bungie seriously makes some changes And that's why I put the TWAB after this discussion tonight, because supposedly they talk about things they're going to do, which I really can't believe what they say anymore until I see it.
This time they'll actually do it?
I'm not going to believe anything until I actually see it.
All the bugs. There's millions of bugs.
Oh my God.
Came out.
I think the scoring system in Portal right now is a bug, because
they confirmed. Yeah.
But anyway,
they confirmed that bug along with a million others. Now, I do need to say on the Ron thing, that's not the reason. That's not the easiest raid at all. Vault and DSC are easier than Ron. In fact, Ron, I keep saying this a million times. Everyone has an impression that Ron's an easy raid. No, it's just easy for the mechanics. The ad control is actually harder than a lot of other raids in that. And if it was the easiest raid, I wouldn't see raid groups trying to farm the last encounter and have issues. And I still see that all the time, where they can't just farm it easily like you can on Vault of Glass. They'll fail and they'll fail and they'll fail. And then, yeah, so if it is not the easiest raid by any means. I promise you that. Kilvin kind of nails it in the Discord chat. He says that negative 50 delta in Grandmaster makes it an absolute slog. And by the way, I forgot to mention, it's a negative 40 or negative 50 or a negative 60 delta in order to get a score now in Grandmasters. It is utterly ridiculous to have to play at negative 60 to everything around you. That makes everything a bullet sponge. Even your red bars, you have to use finishers on just to get them out of the way. It is so ridiculous right now. Like I said, you know what? That's why I got my red hibiscus tea tonight, because I knew my blood pressure was going to shoot up. This is going to counteract it at least a little bit, but, Tajo even mentions, making lock loadouts. You can't crank activity score without having lock loadouts. I forgot to mention that you can't change any of your gear in the mid activity. And Banes are harder than champions. Yeah, they are. I have some of them that I like on the moon. I'll be standing still trying to plank away at a anti-barrier champion. And then all of a sudden the floor is freaking lava. I got to dance around. And sometimes I've even died from it, where I get trapped in a corner and I end up dying. And I'm like, well, there goes a revive. So then I have to make sure I kill that, go back and kill. See, I know a lot of people breeze through here. They don't kill any of the champions. They do whatever you have to objective wise and move on. I was watching Jixer Clyde play the other day, and man, he's really down in the dumps too. And he just breezing through the K1 area on the moon, the activity, the K1 dungeons or whatever, the lost sector. And he'll just take the back door in and not even kill any enemies. Just he'll unblock the satellite dishes and then just move on to the next one. And but I always like to get that main objective done to get the extra points, because that really is the difference between a C and a B plus or an A even. But it's just a slog, man. I don't want to play at a negative 50 delta every time I jump in to just crank out some stuff. That just is not fun to me. I mean, if I wanted to play Grandmaster Nightfalls all day, then I would have played that long ago. I don't really care to do that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Any other thoughts on this, Kingsley, as far as your first day of Ash and Iron, or first week? The only other thing I'll say is I'm kind of having a prediction. It goes along with something else that we'll slightly talk about later, that within a year's period from now, or maybe at least a year's period from Renegade, that basically everything with powering and the portal system will be completely different or gone.
You think so? Yeah, you're staying by that statement. I remember you saying that on a couple shows ago. You think they're going to dismantle all the portal and the grinding and stuff?
Well, I don't know if I'm not saying like portal will be totally gone, but it'll be totally different. That's what I said.
See,
and the power leveling thing too, because I have to give a little preview. Power is not going to matter come Renegade for tiered weapons, and we'll get into that later. But they're already making all these changes. They're just going to revert everything, and then all this work they went into was for nothing.
I'm not even thinking about tier 5 stuff right now. I'm just trying to survive these encounters where I can at least get something for my time putting in. And like I mentioned, I think someone was talking about, value for their time in a question for the show last week. And I got to agree, man. If I'm going to spend some time, I'm an investment gamer. I like to invest my time, and for my time, I want to get something back for it. This is a looter shooter game. Let's keep that in mind. And if I'm going to play a looter shooter, I want to get some loot. And anyway, I'm not going to pile on that, but I know how Bungie can fix this. I was thinking about this today, just how miserable this whole week has been with the death of my friend, and it's been rainy all week. I just had a 100-foot oak tree knocked down out of my backyard. That was a $2,500 expense I had to come up with this week. And of course they broke my fence. My wife's garden was all trashed. I mean, it was just a nightmare. I mean, just a terrible week. But on top of that, my only hope, my only bright spot was Ash and Iron drop this week. And then what I saw day one when I jumped in, I was just flabbergasted, man. I was just totally deflated. And, I really think I know how Bungie can fix this, like right now. I got to thinking about this today. You know, the thing I'm loving right now is the fact on my alt accounts, I'm at like 135 or something on those. I'm just building them up. I can run anything. Raids, dungeons, Crucible, patrols, and get the blue. I talked about this last week. I get these blue engrams from the high value targets, and you'll get +3 gear. I think
up to 200. Yep.
I think what Bungie needs to do, and are you listening, Bungie? Sony, are you listening? You want me to play this game? You want people to jump back into this game like right now? You need to make everything in the game that you play a +3. Everything in the game. If I want to go do patrols and a blue engram falls out of a red bar dreg that I kill, it should be +3 all the way up to 500. And I think
that's another reason that the portal doesn't need to be around.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to get the new gear and the new weapons and the new tiered loot, yes, the tiered armor is a total win for me. I'm always looking at loot. I'm always looking at how I can build. The build crafting is off the charts for me right now. That's the one thing that keeps me playing this game is the build crafting possibilities are endless. And if you add in all the fragments and aspects and you know, just everything, your subclass built in around it, tying into all that build crafting, it is a lot of fun right now. And, but I think what Bungie needs to do, I'm going to say it again because I want to see if Bungie hears us. Make everything in the game. When you guys play your raid that other night, you know, I don't know what raid you're playing. If it's not even Desert Perpetual, if you're going to play a Vault of Glass raid, every drop should be +3 that you get out of the chest in the raid, even though it's not tiered loot. It can be just regular blue. It could be a blue engram. It needs to be +3 so people can level up to 500 as fast as they can. And then from 500 to 550, those are where you're diehard, where you can only go into the portal areas and play the portal. Then you can go in there and play your master and ultimate, you know, with all the modifiers and stuff built in. Then you can go in the reclaim activity that's out now and jump in there with all the modifiers and with 2 of your best friends that kick ass and go in there and just get your prime engrams and start leveling up to your 550. Then it's a total bragging right that you went through all these elements. But the problem is Bungie's throwing all of this high level play to just us plebs, us casuals that are just trying to get up to 500, up to at least be able to get tier 4s even right now. And I think if Bungie changed this tomorrow, I think a lot of us would keep playing because the power grind for me is fun. I know it's not for you, Kingsley. I know for a lot of people it's not for them, but they want the story. They want to explore things. But for number go up, that works for me. But the problem is now for me to go from 403 to 404 on my character, I have to go into Portal. I have to play solo ops and I have to play it at such a high level, like a -50 delta, that I'm just miserable. Even though I know those activities in and out, I still am hitting bullet sponges. I have to go through all these new banes that come at me. I got the airborne stuff coming at me. You know, I don't have any ammo in any of my weapons until I find ammo crates, which I'm getting good at finding those. But it's just Bungie needs to bring back the fun factor and the reclaim activity. If you're 500 to 550, then yeah, you need to put all those Banes and champions and all that other stuff in. Otherwise, let the reclaim activity just be fun to play. Let anybody who wants to jump in there play, and they'll get +3 for anything that comes out of the chest or anything like that, and just be done with it. I don't think they need to take apart the system, Kingsley. I just think they need what they're doing now from 10 to 200, they need to do from 10 to 500. And then when the reset comes in December in 3 months, where everyone goes back to 200, it won't be as a big a deal because the looting, the leveling up process will be so much easier, and they can play anything in the game. If I want to play Vault of Glass with 5 other people this weekend, I know when I jump in there, I may not get the new tiered loot, but anything that falls out of that chest will give me +3 all the way up to 500. And then from 500 on, like Tajo and a lot of the guys out there that are really hardcore playing this, then start throwing all the Banes and Champions and no start ammos and fire at your feet and freezing when you get punched and no radar and all that. Let them get into that, because that was what Nightfalls were. Nightfalls were those people who are really high power level and really love the challenge of doing the Nightfalls. But now everything in the game is a Nightfall. And that's you're just gonna bleed players. There's too much competition now for other games to play. Bungie, you got to make it easy for people to jump in these reclaim missions. You got to make it easy for people to play anything. If they want to go farm Glimmer on Cosmodrome and get blue drops or occasional legendary drops, or open a treasure chest and you get a legendary leg piece, it should be +3. It's so easy to fix. I've said my piece.
I like your idea in theory, but I don't think it's going to happen for 2 reasons. But I do like it, how you presented it. One, because they put so much into the portal and they're just doing sunk cost fallacy right now. And I give them another 6 months before they admit that. And 2, they kind of hinted to this because all the old raids aren't even going to be getting updated loot until probably second half of Renegades. If then, they don't have the time to have all the old stuff just work all the time, having a smaller studio. That's why they made the portal, so they can just focus on small subsets of the game at a time. This is where all their focus is. They don't have time to work on everything in the game all the time anymore.
Well, I said my piece. I was thinking about it today, and I said that is really something Bungie can do right away to just stop the bleeding. Because if I want to go do patrols and turn in bounties on all the areas, let us do that. Oh, and that brings up another point. They need to put all this in Kepler. When we run in Kepler, I think a lot of the 450 guys last season said you could only get up to 300 drops on Kepler. What the hell's up with that? This is the new content. Let us get +3s up to 500 on Kepler. Anything we do in Kepler, anything we get in Kepler, it has to be +3s. That way, everybody will get up to 500. Everybody will feel like they've invested time in the game. And then if the hardcore players, like the Soccers out there that want to play, the Nightfalls, the Grandmaster Nightfalls, those level players from 500 to 550, which I think should get they should get special ornaments. They should get special emblems just to show that they're the hardcore players out there. That is where you start throwing everything with the kitchen sink at you. That just makes more sense to me. But I'm at 400. I mean, I got 150 levels I got to get to just to get to the top of the hard cap right now. I don't think I care about even getting there. Not at the current system they have now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And in 6 months, it won't matter because tiered loot won't be tied to power level anymore.
Tajo had a question for me here in the Discord chat. He says, if Bungie continues on this path and making those fumbles, will you still be the last person logged in when they shut down the game, or is this stuff swayed that stance? I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll be the last player. I mean, I love this game. That's why I bitch and moan about it on my podcast. But yeah, I love the grind. But Solstice, that was a ton of fun. I logged in every day. I played for hours in Solstice because they were giving +1 loot. They were giving +1 level loot in anything when we ran the portal stuff, and that was fun. But now that if you hit 400, Kingsley, any of you who are 300s right now and are trying to get to 400, you'll know what I'm talking about here very soon when you get graduated. I think it's 380. You get graduated into the Grandmaster playlist. That's a -20 already. And you'll find to get that grade A, to get the highest tier loot possible, you'll find out what you got to do it. And it's just demoralizing, man. It really is. Anyway, I want to talk about, they mentioned in the live stream also the Haunted Altars, the 6-player PvE activity, that there's not going to be any more Haunted Lost Sectors. They're going to be bringing out a 6-player PvE activity called Haunted Altars. Did you have any insight on what you thought about that, Kingsley? I have some comments, but I want to see what you have to say.
No, other than I'm freaking excited. This, of all the things, like, I have realistic or low expectations on, this was one small thing that they blew my mind on. A lot of us were guessing that the Halloween event would not have any activity at all, just kind of like Solstice, right?
Right.
Well, they go a 360 and bring us a new activity. And not only that, it's a 6-player activity. I'm freaking excited. I love 6-player activities. I may be grinding that some, not necessarily grinding for any. When I say grinding, I mean experiencing the activity multiple times.
Well,
maybe if there's a good piece of weapon, I go for it also a little bit. But to experience it, I'm going to be checking that out for sure.
Not only that, they brought a PvP mode called Red Rumble that's coming out. That's going to be part of the 2-week event as well. So, and that's another thing, man. These events that last 1 week, what is up with that? I think 2 weeks is a good amount of time. Any less than that, and if you have a really shit work week, you're missing a lot of players there that might want to jump in and play that stuff. But I'm mixed about this Haunted Altars, because here lies the problem again for the solo player. I would rather go play Haunted Lost Sectors and farm them for loot and to get whatever materials I needed to, move my track along and get the new mask or whatever it is. But now it seems I'm going to have to play in a 6-player activity in order to enjoy myself in Festival of Lost. And it might be the opposite effect for me. I may actually either bow out or just have a night where a bunch of us just jump in and start playing the activity. I don't know how I feel about this, but I was a little worried about that, because unless they make a single-player version of this activity, I don't know. Not everybody has a 6-player fire team that
it's auto match made.
It's match made. I realize it's match made. I understand it's match made, but I've not had the best luck with matchmaking. I know. We've been over this in the past shows, but I'm not a fan of matchmaking. I'm not. I'd rather jump in with 5 other friends of mine that I can BS with and have fun with. But when people don't even know, like the Reclaim activity, I'll give you for instance, people jump into that match made. Some people don't have no clue what they're even supposed to do. Or some people may be running around looking for the data pads and bow out and just bail. There's a lot of problems you can get with matchmaking against randos. And I'm just cringing just thinking of this activity.
Yeah, you chalk that up way too much. Like in all I matchmake way more than you, and I'd say it's a bad experience at most 20% of the time.
You know what I'm gonna do? I might stream it one night. Yeah. One night I might just stream the Reclaim activity if I'm playing it, and just publicly show my experience with random 6-player events and see what happens.
That's a
3-player event. Activity. So yeah, I'm just curious because I've been watching streamers doing matchmaking as well, and they've had their ups and downs with it as well.
Agrees with my 20% comment. Thank you, Taja.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, 20%. That's still too high for dealing with griefers and
not too high.
People don't know what they're doing, and killing all the enemies before the objectives are done and not getting the score you need.
If Bungie could have 20% less bugs, we would all be happy.
Yeah.
20%.
Well, any other comments on the Ash and Iron based part of the live stream, Kingsley?
No. It's not affecting me as much because still, even though some things surprised me on the bad side, I went in knowing that I wasn't expecting much from this update. And then I'll look forward to coming back in October for the exotic mission, and then definitely for the Halloween event. I may not like the 6-player activity. I've liked most 6-player activities in the game, but I haven't liked every single one. So we'll see when it comes.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about the positive things from the live stream event. Be right back.
Howdy folks, this is MC Squared and you're listening to Guardian Downcast.
All right. I mean, I don't want this podcast to be all doom and gloom because, I mean, I'm still the eternal optimist when it comes to Destiny 2. There was some really good news that they did announce. It depends how you look at it, I guess. But for me, I thought it was outstanding, is what they shared about the new Renegades major update, seasonal drop, whatever they want to call it. I don't care what they call it now. That's coming December 2nd. And what they actually mentioned was that the way they described it is where the Star Wars story and the Bungie story collide. And when I saw the live stream, the Vidoc was fantastic. Thank you, Bungie, for putting out another Vidoc, because I love Vidocs. That is, to me, is still the best promotion to get people excited about your game, is doing the Vidocs. And I thought it was well done. They talked about how there's going to be all kinds of new stuff in this game, new story, new settings. They talked about key locations are going to be Mars, Europa, and Venus. Venus is coming back. To what extent, we'll have to see. I mean, they said Plaguelands was coming back, but look what we got. Which is going to recommend, which is kind of reference to Dagobah, Hoth, and the Sarlacc pit. You know, Jabba the Hutt's slave ship, sex ship, whatever you want to call it. I saw that in there too, which was I thought it was awesome. And how the Drifter is going to be probably the main character or one of the main elements of the story going for Renegades, without spoiling too much. But the hub was called The Last Frontiers. There was a holo map that you would pull up, and you had these 3 things that you could do, 3 activities. One was called Bounty Hunt, one was called Sabotage, and a third one was called Smuggle. So those are the 3 main objectives you'll be doing in Renegades. You'll either be hunting for play, getting reward for bounty contracts. You'll be going in and trying to destroy or sabotage something on the enemy. And then you're going to smuggle, which is probably something where you have to, steal something from the enemy here and fly it home or something like that. But the thing that really got me excited, Kingsley, was the underworld aspect of it. They called it the syndicates. You're basically going to work for these underworld bosses, which gives me, like I said, it gives me those Forsaken vibes of when we did stuff for, what was the big guy, the big, Elixir guy, he sold, he sold you stuff. You could exchange stuff with him. What am I thinking of here, Kingsley? Chad, help me out.
You claim to love him and you don't even know his name.
Well,
his name is Spider.
Yeah, Spider. And when they took him out, when they couldn't do exchanges with him anymore, I was really upset about that, because I visited him every day to even out my resources.
You
anyway,
can't remember his name.
Well, they haven't had him in the game for a while. So
yeah, he's been gone for a bit. Yep.
But they have these 3 factions, and what reminds me of the faction wars, the Dead Orbit, the New Monarchy, and the one that that was a third faction that was had Mara Sundaresh, not Sundaresh, but as the boss. Anyway, it'll come to me. Chad will help me out, hopefully. Anyway, you had these 3 factions that you could actually pledge your allegiance to in Destiny 1 every week, and you would get, when you went and did stuff for them, you could come back with your legendary coins or whatever it was back then and buy the weapons that they were selling, which always kicked ass. The weapons were badass, especially Dead Orbit. Dead Orbit stuff was always really cool. But you have the Pikers, which are these Elixir biker gangs. You have the Totality Division, which are the Scion-led bosses. And then the Tharsis Reformation. These are Vex offshoots that decide to think for themselves instead of the hive mind, which I thought that was really cool. And there's basically a turf war going on, and you're trying to build up notoriety and influence as kind of the end-game power. So by doing these 3 activities I mentioned, you'll gain influence and reputation, I guess, for these 3 syndicates. And I think you have to decide which syndicate you're going to work for. But this had me really excited because, there's, I guess the way the story goes, the enemy is the Imperium, where they have this, big, powerful weapon that they're wanting to use. And I guess part of the story is we have to go sabotage or destroy this weapon. And then it ties in with the factions and everything else. But, you'll have, but the bounty hunting, you'll have jobs available across all these locations. It kind of had extraction shooter mechanics, like PvE extraction shooter, where you would do your mission and then get in the ship and get out. Hopefully no timers. And then it just looked really good. There's a new invasion mode. It's a new Gambit variant where you have contracts, versus Guardian crews. It's a 1v3. You have all these powers and you can summon airstrikes, vehicles, all kinds of bikes, vehicles you can run across on the ground. And then of course they have walkers, the AT-AT. You can have the AT-ATs now, in the game and the new Renegades, which just seems like it's going to be really fun to use. There is going to be a dungeon. That's going to be the end game thing, where you can get, high tier content and loot. They're going to have new abilities. You have these earnable powers. You have, like I mentioned earlier, you have airstrikes. You can drop Cabal pods. You can summon a walker, interceptors, swoop bikes from Star Wars. And there's 9 abilities total, but you can upgrade 7 different tiers on these abilities. And I guess it unlocks even more powerful stuff. Weapon wise, you're going to have blasters, and it's going to be very much like the Star Wars game, where your gun basically would overheat and you'd have to let it cool down. It's like a heat sink but you had unlimited ammo, but you had to just pace your shots when you're using it. I like blasters. That's the one thing I did like about the Star Wars games. And then the lightsabers were called Praxic Blades, and you could do visual and ability customization to them. Kind of like, what is that sword that we got in Final Shape, where you had all these different variants of the sword? Something kind of like that, but maybe hopefully a lot easier, where you don't have to carry a bunch of them in your inventory. But what did you think from what you saw, Kingsley? I mean, those are the highlights of things that I saw from it that I really loved. You got anything to comment on it?
Yeah. Of course, I'm excited for new content when it comes out.
Ergo sum. Thank you, Taju.
Yeah. But I'm not getting, well, I never would anyways, but I'm not getting tricked just because they had a good Vidoc. I'm still expecting this will have the same amount of content that keeps everyone doing the new stuff for 3 weeks. And then we're going to be not doing that anymore, just like we're not doing Kepler after like 3 weeks. We had good Vidocs for Shadowkeep, and look how that turned out. So just because they have a good Vidoc doesn't necessarily mean the content will be good. I actually kind of can guess how a lot of this will go, because they kind of are doing a lot of copy paste of what Star Wars Outlaws did.
Oh,
and I do highly recommend everyone still play that game, because if you want to get an experience of how the syndicate system works, because what they did when I saw the stream, when I saw the Vidoc, and this makes sense because they're working with Lucasfilm, so they need it.
Right.
There's only a certain way they can do the fonts and the syndicate system, because Lucas does have control on Star Wars, so they want it done a very specific way. And they even had the exact same fonts. In fact, one of the syndicates in Star Wars Outlaws was Pikes instead of Pikers or whatever. So it's very similar. Everything's kind of like a copy paste.
I got you.
So basically, one thing that I do think will annoy people with the syndicate system is when let's say you want to get some weapons, because probably people are going to want to get all the things from all 3 eventually, right?
Okay. Well,
you can't really stick with one and be your main, because if you want to get the others, you have to switch over the other ones. But the problem is like when let's say you have one you prefer as your main, what it does is it makes you have a negative on the other group, so that when you eventually want to go over to the other group to get those weapons, you're not just starting from 0, you're starting from negative, because they're mad that you were in this other one. Now, some people may think that's great, but I can see it now. I'm predicting that people will complain about that, because if you want to get all this stuff, you don't get to play the system you want to play. You may be like, well, I like the syndicate, but I can't main with them because I want to get all the loot and all the syndicates. So you got to play this dance where you are in one for just a little bit that you hopefully don't make the other one too mad, get the stuff real quick, and then quickly switch to another one, and then get their stuff, and then quickly switch to another one. And then once you have all this stuff, I guess you could main a syndicate, but then what would be the point at that point, right? Other than just saying, I prefer this one, but there's nothing else to get because I got all the stuff. So that's kind of how that system worked. I'm not very big on the vehicle stuff too. It's actually ATST, not the AT-ATs.
That's right. My bad. Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
And the reason why is because vehicles are always a pain in Destiny. Everyone can agree that doing the brigs are clunky. They're pain to move around. And this is just going to be a different model on a brig. It's just going to look Star Warsy, but it's just going to basically be a brig.
Mm-hmm.
So I think unless they majorly make the movement on that a lot better, I'm going to probably prefer to not even get in one. I just would rather run around because we're so power creeped and really good right now anyways with all our abilities. Let me see what else I had. I had some notes. Okay, no, that's the only thing on the content. I have a couple things on systems that are going to be changing a little bit later.
Yeah.
In the second half of Renegades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's mention that.
But I will loop back. That sounded like a lot of things that I'm not looking forward to. But of course, I'm looking forward to new content. I'm just not like expecting this is going to last us months and months of excitement. I think it's just going to be like Kepler, like into the Edge of Fate, and it'll be really cool for a few weeks, and then we'll kind of be like same old Destiny, just how it works. But I always love new content, so of course I'll be hitting it hard come December 2nd.
Some other quality of life stuff they talked about, which seemed to be positive, but like I said, we'll see once they actually drop it. They said they were going to have more faster power climb. I have to laugh at that one. They're going to have improved rewards from raids and dungeons going forward. You're going to have tier 3 base drops in the epic raid and the dungeon that's coming out. I guess that's Renegades. They're going to do bonus engrams tied to weekly rituals. I guess that's the seasonal. Okay. They're going to have weekly systems that they're going to be putting in place. They're going to have something called Vanguard orders, which are kind of weekly objectives. You're going to have weekly conquest rewards, weekly legacy raid and dungeon rewards. And they're calling it the return of clan nights and raid nights, where I guess you can play these legacy raids and there'll be special stuff that you can get, either legacy rewards or I don't know. It was very vague.
They're just bringing back what they already had, the weekly rotating raid.
Yeah, basically. They did say that all exotics and weapons and armor featured starting in Renegades will be continue to be. They mentioned this last week that the feature gear now will be continued to be featured in Renegades. They talked about this legendary gear enhancement via this new currency, but this doesn't come out until Shadow and Order, which is in March. It's like 7 months away. And they're going to sunset gear score bonus for portal activities. So maybe you're right. Maybe they are going to revert a lot of this. These are just notes from they did the Renegade stuff, and then they talked about Ash and Iron, and then they talked about quality of life stuff that they were going to mention. That's what I'm going over now. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah. A couple things on quality of life.
Okay.
I found it really interesting because I predicted that, and sure enough, like come the update after Renegades, what were you calling it again? I forget the name on that. What are you talking about? The March one.
Oh, the March one. It's going to be.
You just said the name.
Well, it's going to be where it's just where you can.
No, it had a name. The update had a name. The March update, but I forget.
Shadow and Order. Shadow and Order was the that's the update after Renegades.
This is really, really, really big news, people. In case you haven't read what I wrote in the Discord or you haven't heard it clear enough in the podcast yet, but basically, the tier system with power leveling is going away then, because you will be able to upgrade. I mean, it's not going away. People won't need to worry about it or complain about it, and there will be even less reason to care about power leveling now, because what you're going to be able to do now is what people wanted. You can upgrade a tier 1 all the way to a tier 5 without having to get to power level.
Right. So, I mean, I'll give you an example. I got an Ahab char that has heal clip and kill clip on it, which I love. It's a tier 1 weapon. But it's such a good roll, and it has extended mag. And yes, I realize that it brings my reload speed to a halt, but I have other stuff that's going to bypass that. But that means I can, in this new system, which is 7 months away, if I still have that gun, I can use they'll have some kind of currency, I'm sure, that you can earn, and you can upgrade it up to all the way to tier 5. So that's good news.
So, but isn't that funny though? Again, it's like that's even less reason to care about the power level, because you don't need to be 500 or whatever to get tier 5 stuff. You can get tier 1 and then upgrade it to tier 5. So I'm just kind of laughing, but it's good news, but it's funny news, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. The
other thing, quality of life, that I'm really concerned about, and I know Asdercross is too, because he is huge on this, and I know you are too.
Yep.
But I feel like they're walking back some of their previous promises again. They did not do the second part to what they used to say in the past. Remember what they said about the vault? They said they're adding some more vault space and they're coming up with a better system.
Yeah.
This
quality
time,
of life.
they only said they're coming up with more vault space. They didn't say anything about the new system.
You got all this tiered armor. Where are you going to put it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just flabbergasted. I don't even know what to think. But yeah, I mean, that is positive. That's 7 months away. So keep that in mind. If you get that God tier roll and you don't want to grind any further, just hang on to it and you can level it up. Now, we don't know what kind of hoops we got to jump through to get this currency. That's still left to be. It could be something crazy like, I don't know, run a super tough portal event or something, and you can possibly have this drop. You know, you never know the actual ways of getting this. Hopefully it's something nice and simple like Glimmer or something. You have to buy it. Yeah, I did want to mention another thing they talked about that, I think this is coming in Renegades, maybe later. No, it's actually coming. The last part of Ash and Iron is called Call to Arms. It's a competitive activity. It's led by Devram K, where you're testing out Foundry's gear, and you get a helmet ornament for like top players, get some kind of fire across, like a tailing fire stream or something over their head. I don't know exactly what's going to be involved in that, but there's going to be additional exotic ornaments, they said, as well. That I just want to mention that they did mention another activity by Devram K later in Ash and Iron. Do you know any more about that than I do, Kingsley?
No. But yeah, now we're back to that instead of Renegades. But yeah. No, it doesn't really matter at this point because it's towards the end, and
well, this is the part of the live stream where they're talking about quality of life stuff, and they were mentioning like some positive stuff that's going to be changing.
Gotcha.
I think
the vault, adding an extra 100 to the vault, it's not really positive in most people's eyes. They kind of want a different system, right? Like a better vault, not just an extra 100.
Yeah, they. I think one podcast mentioned they need to be at a even 1,000 or something. That would be a good number, but I mean, I'm maxed out at 700 already.
They need to revamp it. They need to do the thing where you can just pull stuff. You know what I mean, from collections.
How long have we been talking about that? That you just pull it from collections at power, and whatever. It's so easy. It's whatever you've earned on that gun as far as drops, you can just put it together and then say, 3D print it. Let's go. I think, what's that other game? The War something, or whatever. That where you can 3D print stuff. That would make sense. They said they're going to fix the sorting. They're going to make it where it's easy to sort stuff. I think they've been talking about that for a long time. So that might be just something they're throwing out there as a little extra sugar, but, I don't know, man. But Bungie's in a weird spot right now. Overall, it's just been
Yeah.
What was the thing that Justin Truman said at the GDC, the gaming developers conference? He said, first we have to gain their trust, right? Got to gain their trust first. Then once we gain their trust, then we can start to monetize. Holy crap. It's like they got the cart before the horse these days. They got all this fantastic gear in Eververse that you can buy for silver. But here's the thing, Bungie. If nobody's having fun in your game, no one is feeling powerful, no one wants to play the game because it's way too hard, way too taxing. There's a difference between hard and challenging. Challenging means you have to solve a puzzle or something. Hard means you got a bunch of bullet sponges and unnecessary difficulty. If I need to solve an objective in order to get through a activity or whatever, that's different than just a bunch of bullet sponges everywhere and then a bunch of banes and stuff coming at you. It just sucked all the air out of the room for me when it comes to playing the portal activities now. But here's the thing, Bungie. No one's going to buy your stuff if they ain't playing the game. Not playing the game. No one cares about getting that 1,500 silver for that new Taken armor that you got in the store. I haven't bought it.
No one. I bought it, and I played the game less than you.
You just killed my point. But what I'm saying is
look. No, I agree. I think you just need to use a better qualifier word.
Okay.
Most people won't. You said no one. I probably agree that most people won't,
I mean, I have silver. I got a balance of silver in my account right now, but I'm just waiting for a reason to use it. And if I'm not playing the game because it's boring or overly bullet spongy, just to grind
you just got to raid with us more, and we'll have fun showing off our shaders in the raids.
I'll say it again. Bungie can easily fix this. Instead of playing anything in the game to get to 10 to 200, just make it 10 to 500. And then for the very hardcore players, let them run through the Banes and all the Grandmaster and Ultimate mode stuff. I think we should be able to get +3s all the way up until then. If you make the grind that easy, where people can have fun and play Destiny again instead of playing solo ops for hours on end. And remember, you told me, you said, we'll see how you feel in a few weeks. Because I told you I was loving the grind. I was loving the grind by playing solo ops, especially during Solstice. I loved it, man. And you said, well, I'll give you a few weeks, and then you come back to me and say if you still like the grind. I'm not liking the grind. You're right. I'm not liking the grind. K-Mars, I love you, man. He says they can fix it by making Destiny online. Yeah, bring back everything in Destiny from Destiny 1, Destiny 2. That argument's so old now. I'm just hoping that they improve what they got out right now. But
do you think once more people realize that the grinding to 400 and 500 won't, because when it won't matter in the update after Renegades because you can upgrade your tier weapons, do you think once more people realize that between now and 6 months from now, they're going to stop grinding for another reason? Because they'll be like, what's the point? Because I can just take my tier weapons and upgrade them with the new currency once that update comes out,
That's 7 months away, man. That's a long time to hold on to that gear.
Well,
you know what though?
It's just a idea. I bet some people might especially once it gets closer and once they realize they hear that news more, they'll be like, okay, at least within like a couple months, they'll be like, what's the point of grinding? Because they'll know that they won't have to once that update comes out,
Let us play anything in the game for +3s until we hit 500. It's that simple, Bungie. It's that simple. Let us go to Kepler. And I'm working on my Fated weapon title. The problem is anything I pull up is 300 or less. Once you're over 200, anything you get at the tower, whether it's your clan engram or whatever, it's 200. It's not any higher. It's 200. That's bullshit. You need to make that all go to power. I can't even get clan engrams anymore because they're all fall at 200. They don't do me any good other than if I get a good roll, I can just hang on to it and then spend those special cores that we never have enough of to upgrade it eventually. But, oh man. And speaking of the tower, I did try that new kiosk that they have out. The, what was it called?
Oh, yeah.
The Monument to Seasons Past. I mean, it was okay. I even went in with my alt accounts that didn't do some of the past seasonal stuff. And I don't know where you get this currency other than the reward pass, because that's the only place I've seen it appear. Maybe by playing the activity. I don't know. It's real confusing. How do I get this currency to be able to buy some of these ornaments and stuff? And even exotic weapons and stuff. But for me, for my main account, I have everything in that kiosk. I have everything because I played every season. I've gotten all the gear. I've gotten all everything from the reward passes and stuff. So I really have no reason to go in there other than to buy just basic stuff like a harmonizer or a golf ball or some shards or something, enhancement prisms or whatever. But other than that, I don't really even care about that. I know that was a nice little sweet thing they put on to Ash and Iron, but I didn't even find that exciting. I don't know. I was going to mention something and it just went through right over my head. I think it's already gone, but the quality of life stuff, I really hope that they do deliver on what they've talked about with the quality of life stuff. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. Hopefully they're going to fix the leveling and stuff. But yeah, a future war cult was the other third faction that I was trying to mention that was run. But anyway, well, Bungie did respond to us this week to what we've talked about here. It's why I wanted to kind of get out our grievances first, because it's time for This Week in Destiny.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to Jealous Gaming on Guardian Downcast.
All right, This Week in Destiny for 9/11, 2025. Power. They just right off the bat started talking about things they were going to fix. They didn't even say hello or anything. Power and progression, buffs and fixes. They said when Ash and Iron went live earlier this week, many of you quickly hit the new expanded power band of 450 plus and started reporting that it felt off, way off. We fully agree. We're planning a series of fixes to make earning power from 450 plus more in line with expectations, as well to improve how earning power and rewards feels for all players. Have we heard that before? I have a feeling we've heard that before. We are prioritizing these fixes as soon as they can be safe, as soon as they can safely get them out. We understand you got to go through the verification processes, especially with PlayStation. They're sticklers on that stuff. So they call it live updates. They're going to put it out they're saying as early as later this week, before the weekends, they're going to start doing this. And what is coming in the live update change? First off, climbing from 450 to 500 needs to be better. In fact, we want to make the power climb better in general. So we are not solely focused on the 450 to 500 band, but also want to target how players move up from 300 all the way to 500 in a way that feels better to play through. The upcoming LUP, that's the live updates, is just a first step. This will help smooth out our journey from 400 to 500 and help put players within striking distance of earning tier 5s. After this, our priorities will be on the bands below 400 to help players feel constant progress toward the in-game power bands. Okay, so this is the adjustment they're making. If you get a platinum score when you're 450 to 500 power, A+ grades will give you +2 power, A grades will give you 2 power, B+ grades will grant 1 power, +1 power, and B grades now grant +1 power. C+ grades grant you at power level. If you get gold, which is 400 to 450 power, that's where I'm at. B grades now grant +1 power. C+ grades now grant gear towards your power level. In other words, at power. And silver, 300 to 400 power, C+ will now grant +1. So if you're in the 300, trying to get to 400, all you have to do is get a C+, and you'll still get a +1 power in the portal. On top of these changes, we also need to fix scores required to earn the associated grades. The below changes will relieve the pressure on getting higher scores by requiring fewer modifiers, and therefore lower the power delta needed to get an A grade. So, reducing the number of modifiers needed to reach score forecast. They have a note here. How much this helps with your score forecast depends on where you are in the power climb. And granting everyone the featured gear score bonus by default. Okay. We will post on our D2 team accounts when it's live. We're targeting to ship this, like I said, the end of the week. They have a major patch coming on Tuesday, Reset. It's 9.101. They shared this in last week's TWID, so I'm not going to go over all of it here. All power bands, players will have a chance for a prime income drop per portal activity completion reward from 450 to 500 power increase up to +3 power. It was +2. And they talk about all the activities here, a lot of them being the, looks like fire team ops for most of them, or pinnacle ops. They're basically increasing everything to 1 by 1. Next, we have some herds of timers added in the portal are too low. We're increasing these. Avalon increasing to 35 minutes. Presage increasing to 20 minutes. Additional changes coming in Ash and Iron. Finally, we have hearing feedback that reclaim rewards feel undertuned. We're looking into this along with reports from other timers that may need adjustment as our planned LUP goes into effect and the additional improvements go live next week. We will continue to monitor feedback and make adjustments. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. They talk about the Renegades, Vidoc. They talk about Ash and Iron is here. I need some more red hibiscus.
That's why they put the also the Renegades preview before Ash and Iron, because you got to lead with good news before the bad news.
Of course, that was smart for them to do. Future sandbox tuning. I did want to read this because this was pretty cool. I thought this was pretty neat. Our folks in the sandbox team are working hard on some new tuning for all 3 classes, several subclasses, and a bunch of abilities. Their goal is to implement these in Destiny 2 Update 9.15, coming in October. Okay, I thought this was coming next week. All right. There's going to be a new passive trait for Warlocks. You're going to get a 10% bonus to grenade energy regeneration, a 5% additive bonus to damage grenade damage. The following Warlock constructs now count as grenades: Ionic Sentry, Hellion, Bleak Watcher, Child of the Old Gods, and Arc Soul. Chaos Accelerant now grants 2 grenade charges. Scatter Grenade's been improved in several ways. Axiom Bolt will detonate twice. Vortex Grenade will actually draw enemies in twice. That's good. The other grenades too, the Spike, Suppressor, and Void Wall grenades are getting changed as well to a little bit better. Stasis Glaval Harvest. The Stasis Shard creation no longer has a cooldown in PvE. All right, for Titan, Howl the Storm now grants 2 melee charges. Changed Stasis Crystal spawn pattern and added for more crystals. Now slows enemy players instead of freezing them. The Cryoclasm increased fragment slots from 2 to 3. Tectonic Harvest, Stasis Shard creation no longer has a cooldown in PvE. Void Unbreakable, this is the Word of Dawn. Reduced grenade energy drain, reduced forward movement slowdown, increased fragment slots, and Blast now disorients enemies. Bastion no longer increases cooldown in PvE. Finally, the Hunter, new passive trait, increases passive movement speed bonus. This is now equivalent to the old tier 10 mobility. Increased Hunter default sprint speed from 8 meters a second to 8.6. Hunters now have a 10% bonus to weapon equip speed. Marksman's Dodge now picks up nearby ammo bricks on activation, reloads all weapons. I think there's an exotic that does that. Strand, Suspending Slam no longer increases cooldown duration. Suspending enemies with Suspending Slam now gives Woven Mail. Duration scales with the number of enemies suspended. Threaded Spectre increases fragment slots from 2 to 3. Solar, on your mark, rescaled stack count to a maximum of 10 stacks. They show there's different precision things that get even more, or shows how it's built up. Golden Gun Deadshot refunds ammo on Golden Gun final blows instead of munitions. Stasis, the Grim Harvest. Stasis Shard creation no longer has a cooldown in PvE. So during our live stream for Renegades and Ash and Iron this week, we mentioned a few other buffs and changes we're exploring. We're still working through this space. As we have more details, we'll communicate before in Renegades. I'm bummed. I thought this was coming next week. It turns out this isn't coming until October.
Well, I'm bummed. I thought the exotic mission was coming this week, and it's not till October.
That is a bummer. I was really looking forward to these because I talked about them in the past 12. But all right.
But the good news is the extra update for the Warlock. What I was saying a couple episodes ago is people weren't really caring about the how the buddies would give you count for grenade stats and perks. I mean, that's great news, but we wanted more just overall grenade damage. Well, now they confirmed that the new passive trait, 10% bonus to passive grenade energy and 5% additive bonus to grenade damage. So That's good news.
Yep, that is.
Yep.
That is. There's a new Trials weapon coming this week. Yep, this week. Ever-Burning Glitz. It's a kinetic rapid-fire auto frame, and they're bringing back the Burden of Guilt. Iron Banner's next week, and this is really bummed me out. It's not a new armor set. It's a reprised armor set, which I already have. But this will, of course, have the new.
You know, they gotta put all the new armor sets in Eververse instead.
I
had to go there.
But I thought I was looking forward to playing Iron Banner. I was even going to take a break from Borderlands 4 to play Iron Banner because I figured there's a new armor set coming. That's what I've been hearing. And apparently it's just a reprised armor set. And it's one I have already.
It looks ugly to me. Do you like it?
It's one of my least favorite. It's too gaudy.
Yeah.
It's too flamboyant, especially that Warlock helm. Anyway, it's the Iron Chromate set. It does have two new, you know how they'd have the weapon, the armor set bonuses now. I do like these set bonuses. This is very nice. If you wear 2 pieces of the Vigilant Watch, two pieces of this new reprised gear, it's called Vigilant Watch. As your health gets lower, your weapons going increase stability and handling. That didn't make sense. I don't know who wrote that. Weapon final blows while your shields are depleted heal you. That's big, and especially in Iron Banner. 4 pieces is called Iron Conviction. When your shields become broken, you gain increased ammo generation, flinch resistance, and damage resistance against nearby combatants for a short time. Final blows extend this effect. That's very powerful. In Crucible, that's very nice. Very nice. Along with the new armor, completing Iron Banner matches have a chance to reward returning weapon, the Finite Impactor, an adaptive solar hand cannon with some interesting perk combos for both PvP and PvE, along with the Fenutria Farah spreadshot hand cannon and the Ribbon Trail trace rifle, which I already got from Arms Day. I already got the rolls I like for those, so I'm not going to worry about that. And don't forget about the Submersion Crossbow, which has a low chance to drop in any portal activity right now. I've heard it is extremely rare to get that crossbow. Anyway,
you have to. Cross was going for it. If you do it on ultimate mode, it's pretty guaranteed to drop. I think it's at least a 50-50 chance or something, but maybe a little lower. But it's again though, you got to be super tryhard to run ultimate mode,
and you also have to be 500 power, I believe. 450 or 500.
And you also have to have 3 people, and you're not going to be going in solo for that.
No. They got a new comp emblem. Bungie Bounty for Good is back. Starting September 18th, 10 a.m. It's benefiting the Hispanic Heritage Month partners, the El Centro de la Raza, a nonprofit organization that strives to empower communities through its programs in the workforce development, advocacy, culture, and much more. That is a Crucible head-to-head. If you win the Crucible against the players that the dev team is going to play, it doesn't say who. I guess they're going to announce you're going to be playing against. It is a very nice emblem. Very nice emblem. It says, if you match our Bungie Foundation team and secure a win, or help the Foundation team win to glory, the faster Titan light emblem you'll get. So that's very nice. Very pretty. Player support report. Everything's broken. Mm-hmm. All the shit's broken. All of it. It's just a mess right now. If you're trying to level up right now, especially if you're over 200 power, just wait. Just wait. Wait until people start to talk about if the score system has been fixed, because right now it is not. It is broken as hell. And
then when they fix it, jump on it fast, because they'll break it again when the next update comes out.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Anyway, while we close on this TWID, the dev team is working hard on making improvements and changes to the game. First through live updates we shared above, and then update 9101 on Tuesday. The work does not stop there. We will renew the feedback and reactions closely, keep moving in the right direction. We are very aware that no matter what we say here, it's what you experience when you play that matters. But know that we value your passion for Destiny 2, and we want it to feel rewarding every single time. Thanks you for your patience, Destiny 2 community team. I do have to give them props. They're at least talking with us. They didn't go radio silent. I was worried there. A couple days they went radio silent as far as the scoring problems. And here's the thing, Kingsley. remember I talked about it on the roundtable episode, how being a part of Sony's team now, part of their dev team, part of their studio, under the studio umbrella, Sony needs to seriously send Bungie some help for playtesting, because obviously they do not have the personnel to playtest all this stuff.
Yeah,
I've never seen
that. Wow. Yeah. They need more employees.
I've never seen so many things broken on launch day. I mean, so many things are bugged. Even the scoring is just the thing. It really gets me just really pissed off.
People warned about this even a year and a half ago when the first layoffs were happening, that some of the biggest teams that they cut were actually QA. See, and we knew this would happen. We knew, you have a lot of issues if you cut that a lot.
Sony's been talking about how they're going to do a lot of play testing before they release Marathon. Well, I hate to tell you, but most of the people that are going to play Marathon are going to be Destiny players. I don't care how much you say it's an extraction shooter and we're going to get people from all other different realms. And maybe you will. Maybe you will get the big streamers to jump in and play it. But it's the Destiny players that are probably going to make up a bulk of this game. And if you're not having fun in Destiny, why the hell would we want to go play Marathon? If we're not feeling good about Bungie games and a new Bungie games comes out, it's going to be hard to, one, trust Bungie that the game's not going to be broken, and two, that the game's going to be any fun. Sony, you need to seriously send some playtesting help to the Destiny 2 team right now, because they're obviously undermanned. Remember they laid off a ton of quality testers when they did the big rounds of layoffs. You need to get some of these people back, because I'm used to it. DICE games, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, always buggy, always had problems. I remember the first week that I played Battlefield 3 with my friends, we couldn't even talk together in the voice IP because there was a glitch. There was something wrong. They couldn't even, our our squads couldn't even talk amongst ourselves. So we were using, I think we were using some weird funky chat site or something to communicate, and it was sucked because we couldn't talk to her. I'm used to bugs. I'm used to bugs in games, but man, the systems, when they fall back and you're having issues with scoring and trying to level up and trying to get your get from 400 to 500 even, I thought it would be +3s and easily. I thought they would readjust the scoring in the portal and it'd be taking a step back, making things a little easier to get from 4 to 500. Man, I just, like I said, it's just so crazy right now. And they mentioned that they're working on it. So I'll mention something next week if that is the case. But so far I'm just not really happy. So I think that's been abundantly clear this show. I don't want to be negative. I don't want it to be a total downer show. I mean, because we have a lot of awesome Destiny players out there who love this game like I do. And it's just in a weird spot this week. Again,
I'll say this a million times. People don't get to say what your intentions are. You don't have to say negative. You can just say realistic, whatever you're feeling right now,
Yep.
If we start saying we can't say our opinions because they're negative, then we're in a scary spot. So negative is only if you're saying it repetitive 5 times in a row and sounding whiny, But
yeah. The one good thing that's come out of all this is I'm going to have zero FOMO when I play Borderlands 4. I'm going to have zero FOMO because I know what I'm up against going back to play Destiny 2. And I'm not going to be worrying about Destiny while I'm playing Borderlands 4, at least for now. So I'm going to have fun in Borderlands 4. I know they've increased and listened to their fan base and have changed all their systems. And I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm definitely probably going to play it this weekend. So anyway, all right, let's finally go to any questions we have for the show. We'll do that right after this. Hey Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, boys and girls, this is the part of the show where we get our questions from you guys, and it's been a light week. I honestly can't say I blame people because the mood in Destiny is not the greatest right now this week. But we had a question from one of our newer members, Vanilla Gorilla. He says, Trials of Osiris has had many revamps over the years. If you were in charge of Trials, what single change would you make to increase population and keep casual players engaged without running the competition, without ruining the competitive integrity? Well, I'll answer first, Kingsley. For me, the cheaters are really just running rampant, especially if you're playing on PC right now. And I know there's modded controllers and all kinds of issues we have to deal with, net limiting and stuff on consoles as well. But every time I get shot in Trials now, like really like one shot, I'm always thinking, was that skill? Or did someone have an aimbot? Someone have an aimbot controller? Which was it? You know, and we have no theater system. We have no way of playing it back. So we don't know. We don't know if that was a cheater that shot me or what. And maybe I shouldn't worry about it, but I tend to compare my skill by who I'm playing against. And if there's one thing, cheaters obviously be the first thing. The one thing I would do if I was in charge of Trials, it's an in-game PvP game. So it has to be competitive. You know, people play Trials because it's competitive. And man, years ago, it used to be the thing that people would tune into on Twitch was to see what Trials team, what was True Vanguard's team doing this week? How successful were they playing Trials this week? I used to tune into that every weekend. I would just say the biggest thing they can do in Trials, because it's in game, just like raids and dungeons are in game, you got to shower the loot. And I think they're doing that to some degree because every match you have a possible chance of getting a weapon or a real high level resource to drop for you. So for that reason, I think we're doing good there. At least we're doing better. But I think that you got to reward people for their time, even if they're having a bad weekend and not going to the lighthouse. Even if you don't go to the lighthouse, you should have a ton of loot by the end of the weekend when you're playing. What about you, Kingsley? I know you don't play a ton of Trials, but if you were in charge, what would you do?
Yeah. Well, I feel like they can't do anything because they already made that big change, 6 months or a year ago, where they did do a lot of things for the casual players. Because this specific question was increased population in casual players.
Yep.
So, and they did the change where you don't have to get the 7 wins to go to the lighthouse. They did all these changes. You can get loot. You can get a lot more loot than you could before. Maybe not the raining thing you're saying, but it was still a lot better than it was.
Yep.
So, and even with that, it didn't matter. You know why? Because really the only thing that can solve this is you got to get the population up in general. It's a chicken and an egg scenario. And unless you can get the population up in general on the PvE side, there won't also be enough players on the PvP side to play the game of Trials. And the smaller the population you have, the more cheaters is an issue. If you have a large population, you don't run into the cheaters as often.
The thing is too is, I'm just being honest here, Vanilla Gorilla. Bungie has forgotten about the Crucible player long ago. They took all these maps away when they did the big giant sunset. They haven't added any maps in a long time. We had that 3-pack map, I think, a year and a half ago, maybe. Used to be with every Destiny DLC, there would be at least a couple new Crucible maps. But I don't know where the Crucible team is. I guess they all went to Marathon. That's all I can figure. But, they have no really nothing new map-wise in Crucible, whether it's Trials or regular Control or whatever. There's no new maps. And you're playing the same old stuff all the time, which brings me back to my Call of Duty days. And we get burnt out playing Call of Duty over and over on the same maps forever. And eventually you just find something else to play. That being said, I still love playing Crucible. I still love the competitive nature of Crucible. The fact that the way the radar system is, that it attracts players to fight instead of Call of Duty where people camp in corners and shoot you in the back when you run by because there's no radar to worry about, them hiding there. But yeah, I agree. Kingsley nailed it. You got to increase the player base. And if you're not adding anything to Crucible, why should players play more Crucible? They've had a couple of decent drops. I like the rocket sidearm that they have this Ash and Iron drop. That's a plus. But the problem is, who uses rocket sidearms in Crucible? I mean, they generally haven't been very competitive versus a really good rolled hand cannon or something. So anyway, sorry, I'm just in a kind of a negative mood tonight. Don't mean to be. I always try to be positive when it comes to Destiny. We have a question. Oh, Vanilla Grill actually asked a question in our Twitch chat. He goes, pick any raid encounter in Destiny 2 and explain how you would redesign one mechanic to make it both more challenging and more rewarding without making it artificially difficult. This is probably more up your alley, Kingsley.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can come up with an answer that quick, though.
You have to think on that one.
Let me see. I'll go with Vault because I think all the encounters in Vault are pretty lame and easy, so that'll be an easy one to make challenging.
I played it enough times.
I would say for the first encounter where you're just kind of killing ads and keeping them, all you're really doing is making sure the big ad that comes out very rarely doesn't get to the Oracle, maybe they're called oracles too, but the hole you're trying to defend.
Right.
Yeah. They're not the oracles that appear, but the conflicts thing or whatever that they sacrifice to.
Yeah.
How you can make that more interesting is maybe have a system where the ads move a lot faster and the base towers rotate around the arena. So we're like running around chasing things and it feels a lot more fluid than right now. We're just kind of standing there bored out of our minds, shooting ads as soon as they spawn in because we know where their spawn points will be. Super easy. Yeah.
I like that idea. I'm not a go ahead.
Sorry, one thing real quick too, because again, this comes back to, I don't know why, probably because it's the engine. Usually I'm more confident. This one I'm not as confident about. I bet Bungie could actually add this, but they don't do things like other games like Division, Diablo, all these games where like you just kill a yellow bar in the raid and you get an amazing drop. I mean, sure, you can get an exotic occasionally, but I'm talking about you get an amazing normal drop, like an actual raid loot or something. Imagine if randomly just playing the raid and we're running around, we're chasing these characters and we killed the last yellow bar really quick and then it drops some really good loot. That'd be so fun.
That would be. Yeah. I've said it before. Bungie has so many assets from the original game and in what they sunset. And the thing about Destiny 2 is you play something, you play the missions, and then they're gone. There's no replayability. I mean, I think they have so much they can draw from there as far as getting ideas or whatnot. But you're more skilled at answering that question than I am. PvP is where I'm at if it comes to asking a question like that. I believe they all have an aimbot. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you, Vanilla Gorilla. All right, for our question of the week, I asked the question, after seeing the sneak peek at Renegades, what are your impressions? A, I liked it. B, loved it. C, meh. Or D, not a fan. 61% said they liked it. 23% said they loved it. 7% said meh. And 7% said not a fan. So we had a couple comments here. McMaximo said, they said your choices would make a difference, but I seriously doubt that. It's probably still going to be a fairly linear, just like Edge of Fate was, but still it looked and sounded awesome. Nothing quite like the sound of the lightsaber firing up or the blasters on a walker. Looks like a lot of variety too, which would be a nice change pace from Edge of Fate. And thank God Invasion is opt-in. Yeah, the Invasion is where you don't have to do the PvP part of that, which I thought that was a good addition because some people don't want to invade. They just want to kill enemies as fast as they can to get the objective done. Tajo Trade, it's hard to get hype for anything right now, especially after this update disaster. Really not a fan of the Star Wars stuff, just hoping the activities are loot and the loot is good. As usual, I didn't care. I don't care about the story. And yeah, when we interviewed him, he said he's mainly about systems, doing what he has to do to grinding and get the number up. And he said he's not really one to play the story, which, hey, everybody's different. Zombie Pops, they make great hype videos. I just hope that delivers as much fun as it looks. Yeah, I agree. And then finally, Amazing Taco King, our one of our raid boss patrons, said, the syndicates seem like they're reintroducing city faction rallies back into the game, but with Invasion as the main game mode to earn reputation and sabotage the other factions, not quite the open world PvP I was hoping for, but the potential factions coming back sounds great. I totally agree with that. I love the factions. When they got rid of the faction wars and stuff, I was kind of bummed because I really enjoyed that. You had to take sides.
Well, I hope they do that part well. Rewind back to what I said about how syndicates work in Star Wars Outlaws. It may not be something everyone likes, but hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I agree. I understand where you're coming from there. Yeah, Deadpool and Merc. I know it's okay to speak my mind. I'm usually the optimist when it comes to Destiny, but after this week, man, it's just hard to be positive about this. It's hard to be positive this week. It's been a real down week. And I'm not really pissed. I'm just confused. What Bungie expected us to enjoy with this Ash and Iron update, other than a new reward track, which I do like. I'm not saying I don't like the reward track, but like I said,
you're supposed to like the new Eververse.
Man, the Eververse is nice. Maybe anyway, I'm gonna get down to that road. But no problem, Vanilla Gorilla. No problem, man. We love questions here on the show. I love to interact with our stream live as well.
Hey, late breaking news.
Oh,
we have developed a live update to improve portal rewards and scoring. This just came out a little while ago from Bungie.
It just dropped? Live update?
They say you may need to sign out and sign back in for changes to take.
It's a live update. That means you don't have to download anything. It's already in the server. It's built into the server.
Yeah, you need to log out and log in. But yeah,
I might try it tonight and see if things have improved. I'll report back. But you know what, man? I gotta say, I was worried my blood pressure get a little too high tonight. But like I said, I'm disappointed. I'm confused. But Borderlands 4 is here, and I'm really gonna enjoy Borderlands 4. I've been waiting for this to drop, and in 1 hour it'll be available on my PS5. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm gonna watch a couple streams probably after the show here. And see how people are enjoying it, seeing what's going on, and probably going to jump in and play. See what all this hype's about. So, and you said Green Man Gaming?
You actually do it.
You said Green Man Gaming has it 15% off right now, Kingsley?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's at greenmangaming.com?
Yeah. I can talk to you offline if you have any questions, but it's pretty obvious. It's just a code that goes through the 15th of September for 15% off on any game. You can use it on that.
Very nice. Okay. Hey everyone, as I take my mandatory bathroom break, I'd like to thank our Patreon community for giving back and continue to help out a listener-supported podcast like this one. If you've received any value for today's episode and want to give back, check out guardiandowncast.com and select the Patreon button to learn more about it. Now let's return to the conversation. And yes, I did wash my hands. Later, Guardian. Speaking of patrons, I want to give a shout out to one of our newest patrons, Miklo, who joined the Patreon community as a new fist bump patron. This is our $10 a month tier. Thank you, sir, and enjoy all the extra content. It might take you a while, as there's over 3 years of it now with bonus Patreon video and audio episodes and my latest Patreon video on how I edit and create the Guardian Downcast show. So good luck with that. A special shout out to all the patrons of the show. You know who you are out there. Everything that you do for our show and our community and your financial support goes right back into all the services and stuff that we use to run a community. And if you've ever run a community, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think our website hosting just came up for the year, and yeah, glad there's money there to cover it. So thank you, everybody. Especially thank you to our Dungeon Champion patron, that would be Deadpool1 Merc, and our Raid Boss patrons, our highest level supporters, Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you to all our Patreon community. Hey, before we go, some final thoughts to wrap up this week. I have to admit, Ash and Iron is not what I envisioned from Bungie, from all the live streams and all the details they put out. And as we ended the live show, Bungie had just completed a live update to their servers, supposedly fixing the bug scoring system in the Portal and Reclaim events. I still believe that Bungie needs to change the way the power grind is done up to 500 by doing what I think is fun in Destiny 2 currently, when powering up my alt accounts from 10 to 200. Getting +3 drops from anything I want to play in the game, even if I'm just killing high-value targets in those patrol zones on Nessus or Cosmodrome. We have new and returning players joining our Discord community every week. There's a lot of content out there to play other than just a Portal event. So why not allow players to get +3s on anything they want to play, including the new Kepler destination? When I heard that the Sieve activity, or Sev, however way you say it, on Kepler only dropped up to 300 power gear, that didn't motivate me to play it. To this day, I still haven't played the new Sieve activity, mainly because it's only available at certain times. Every time I would check into Kepler to see if the activity was available, I had to wait until the timer ran out, sometimes for over an hour. Who's going to wait for that? So I just continued to jump into other activities, and by the time I remember to go back and look, it's already passed. So Bungie, allow us to jump into this new Sieve activity whenever we like. I heard it's very Gambit-like, so I like Gambit. I like playing Gambit, but we don't get anything rewarding from Gambit right now, so why should I want to play that? I just don't get the timer stuff, and I'm sure, you don't see much player activity in there because of those reasons I just stated. Make it easy for us to jump into anything and get rewarded for it. Anyway, that's my opinion, but what do you think? Let me know in our Discord Guardian Downcast feedback channel. You can just go to discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Our community is always very welcoming to our new members. We get them every day just about. So don't hesitate, jump in with like-minded Destiny gamers, even when we're at the low points. You can also give us feedback, of course. Just go to guardiandowncast@gmail.com or let us hear your voice. Leave us a voicemail at guardiandowncast.com. I wanted to also mention to check out my new podcast, 50 Years Experience Required. It's all in the podcast apps out there. Whatever podcast app you normally use, you should be able to search for 50 Years Experience Required and it'll pop up. You can use 50 or 50, the actual word written out. Are you that oldest sibling that always makes all the mistakes, and your lucky brother or sister that are younger than you learn from your mistakes? That's kind of why I made this podcast. It's about all these personal stories and experiences I had from just trial and error. And, my hope is to see that these topics of conversation can help you in everyday life, all in less than 30 minutes. I usually never go over the 30-minute mark. So, check it out. I just released 4 episodes total. I just released officially 4 episodes, which addresses my experience in good and bad in relationships, marriage, money, the birth of my son. Kind of interesting story there. Interesting turn of events. This week, I already have the scripts written out. I have my latest episode on starting my own business from scratch. So I hope you'll tune in and listen to that episode. Really, one thing that really changed my life is working for myself. And I'll talk about my story and also the pluses and minuses of owning your own business. So check that out. That'll be out this week. Kingsley and I will return next week on Guardian Downcast with another live episode. I'm sure we'll catch up and talk more Destiny, Ash and Iron, or whatever news comes our way. I did want to mention just a program announcement. We will have a brand new guest on the show next week, but we will be going live at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, not 9. So just make a note of that if you join us live out there. And that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection for our new listeners out there. We have 320 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community, talking Destiny stuff or whatever on our roundtable episodes. So take a look at those, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, hit that share button on your podcast app. Everything is at guardiandowncast.com. Special thanks to my host, Kingsleymac. I'll have the links in the show notes if you want to follow his socials. And you can contact me, ToddtheGatr, ToddtheGatr, all across the socials and gaming platforms. And you can also email me, of course, at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Remember, as you're playing Edge of Fate, take breaks, get outside, and touch grass. Rigator23. Hey, man, welcome to the community. Hey, everyone, remember, we're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, and your destiny. Hey, and be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. Well, that's it, guys. That's our show this week. Am I forgetting anything, Kingsley? Are we good?
I think we're great. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say, but also I would say like the sentiment's pretty similar for everyone, and just because we're not saying positive things doesn't mean there's not still things to look forward to. So it is what it is, and it's a great time to have gaming. Hop in Destiny if you enjoy it. Hop in other games if you enjoy it, and we'll be around to talk about it.
Yep, and the live update just dropped in the servers, so if you're logged in right now and floating in space, make sure you log out and relog back in, and it should be live for you right now. And I'll probably jump in and just see if anything's changed. It's just fresh in my mind what I had to go through to just get a +3 at 403. So we'll have to see how that is. So thanks everyone who showed up to the live chat in their Discord and our Twitch channel and in our YouTube channel. That's ToddtheGatr, ToddtheGatr. That's how you can reach me in the Discord and online, Twitch, YouTube, X, all those places. That's where you can find me. And Kingsley, just to remind everybody, how can they find you, sir?
Yeah, just I am listed as Kingsleymac in the Discord, so feel free and message me at any point. Even if you have a question, you can DM me. No worries. My DMs are open.
Scarlet, play Hollow Knight 2, Todd. Could be a fun. I looked at it. I
don't think you're gonna like Hollow Knight. No. Well, we'll talk. I'm sorry, Scarlet. Yes, you should try it, but I've
played a lot of side scrollers, man. I just don't know.
Florida's like considered the Caribbean. It's barely connected to the U.S. You know what I mean? It's
Here we go. We're going to slander
its own little island.
All right. Everybody's a jokester today.